Well, this is a bit mental, isn't it? Celtic fans, I don't think any of us were ready for this one. If you're as shocked as I am, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and smash the like, because we're diving into some heavy stuff today. You know how we do it here at Celtic Central News. First off, thanks to every single one of you for sticking around. Your support means everything, and it's what keeps us going. A special shout out to all the new subscribers out there. Welcome to the family. Hail, hail. Now let's get into it. The big news has hit, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm still trying to process it. Rodgers, the man who guided Celtic through one of the most successful periods in our recent history, has stepped down as manager. Yeah, you heard that right. He's gone. Now, when I first saw the news, I thought, nah, this has got to be some sort of joke. But nope, it's real. Rodgers has resigned, and I've got to say, I didn't see this coming. I really thought we'd be stuck in limbo with him until the end of the season, dragging our heels, with the players looking as uninspired as ever. Let's be honest, the way things were heading, it felt like we were watching a slow-motion car crash. The manager clearly wasn't engaged, and the players were barely showing any signs of life on the pitch. The spark was completely gone. It was like we were all just going through the motions. But then, out of nowhere, Rodgers has decided to leave, and now we're in this completely new chapter. I mean, talk about a plot twist, right? No one expected it to happen like this, and I've got to say, I'm kind of stunned. But here's the kicker. What happens now? It's not like Brendan just up and left without leaving a big mess behind him. This isn't just about one man's departure. It's about the wider issues within the club. The board, the players, the whole structure. Everything's been called into question, and now there's this giant void at the top. For those of us who've been watching this unfold, it's clear that the real issue isn't just one man. It's the people who've been pulling the strings behind the scenes. The board, the executives, they've all been complicit in the struggles this team has faced. Don't get me wrong, Rodgers had his part to play, but there's a lot more going on here that goes beyond just one manager. You could feel the tension building up over the past few weeks, and this resignation has only intensified it. The fans have been angry, the atmosphere around the club has been toxic, and now the blame game is in full swing. Some of us have been saying for months that the board needed to take responsibility for this mess, but instead, it felt like they were hiding behind Rodgers, letting him take all the flack. Well, now that he's gone, there's nowhere left to hide. The reality is, the blame isn't just on him. It's on everyone who has failed to properly support him, whether it was through dodgy transfer dealings or a lack of ambition when it comes to squad development. It's a sad day for Celtic, but also, I feel like there's a slight sense of relief in the air. As much as I didn't want to see Rodgers go, I don't think it could have carried on the way it was. It was never going to work with that apathy seeping into every part of the club. His resignation might just be the wake-up call we all needed. It's a chance for a fresh start, for the club to rediscover its passion and purpose. But here's the thing. What happens next is going to be critical. The next steps will define whether we sink or swim this season. In an attempt to steady the ship, Celtic have appointed Martin O'Neill as the interim manager alongside former player Sean Maloney. Now, don't get me wrong, I've got a lot of love for Martin O'Neill. The guy is a Celtic legend, and he brought us some of the best memories in recent years. But let's be real, he's 73 years old. Is he really the man to take us forward, even if it's just for a few games? There's something about this that just feels like a temporary fix. Let's get someone in who knows the club approach. But does this really solve our problems? The fact that we're relying on O'Neill in 2025 says a lot about the lack of vision within the club. It's like we've just picked up the phone to an old friend, hoping they can bail us out. It's hard to avoid the feeling that the club has simply run out of ideas. If you're asking me, it's clear that the board has no real long-term strategy in place. They've dragged their feet on everything from transfers to managerial appointments, and now we're stuck with an interim manager who, while legendary, isn't exactly the solution we need. The club needs a complete overhaul, not just a quick fix. And don't get me started on the recruitment issues. How many times have we seen this club fail to back the manager properly in the transfer market? How many times have we seen the same mistakes being made? And yet, here we are. O'Neill and Maloney are in charge for now, and we've got a crucial match coming up against Falkirk. The question is, will the players respond to this change? Will they show up for the new interim management? There's a chance this could reignite some fire in the squad, but it's going to take more than a couple of old faces to turn things around. The bigger question is, what happens when this interim period ends? Will we be stuck in the same rut, waiting for another temporary solution, or will the board finally make the right call and bring in a permanent manager who can take this club forward? As it stands, the future of Celtic is hanging in the balance. There are so many questions and not nearly enough answers. We've got a new interim manager, we've got a fresh sense of uncertainty, and we've got to see what happens next. Will this be the start of something new, or are we just buying time until the next crisis hits? Only time will tell, but one thing's for sure. We're all in this together, and we've got to stick by the club through thick and thin. It's a tough time, but it's also an opportunity to rebuild. Let's just hope the people in charge know what they're doing this time around. Let's go, Celtic. Now, the big question that's been on everyone's mind since Rodgers' resignation is, what happens next? With the club in a bit of turmoil, it's hard to know where to turn. The interim appointment of Martin O'Neill is certainly a surprise, but it's also hard to deny the nostalgia attached to his name. I mean, this is a man who brought so much success to Celtic in the early 2000s, and while his legendary status is undisputed, it does make you wonder if the club is just grasping at straws right now. Is this really the best move for a club of Celtic stature, or is it just another case of taking the easy route? The fact that O'Neill is 73 years old and hasn't managed a top-tier team for years speaks volumes about the state of affairs at Celtic. I'm sure we all love Martin, but let's be honest, bringing him in as an interim manager feels like we're trying to relive the past rather than stepping into the future. It's like the club's board ran out of ideas and decided to call up one of their old favorites to keep things ticking over. But we all know that nostalgia isn't going to win us the league or get us back into Europe. The game has changed, and so must Celtic. And it's not just about O'Neill. There's a bigger issue at play here. The board's decision-making has been nothing short of baffling over the past few years. How many times have we seen the club fail to back its managers in the transfer market? How many times have we been left scratching our heads, wondering why certain players haven't been brought in or why the squad has been so underwhelming? These are the questions that need answering, but right now, it feels like the board is too busy pointing fingers at each other to take responsibility. Rodgers might have been the face of this failure, but let's not forget the men behind the curtain who've been pulling the strings and making the decisions. It's frustrating to watch, especially when you consider the potential this club has. Celtic is a giant, not just in Scotland, but in Europe. We should be competing with the best of them, but instead, we're stuck in this constant cycle of disappointment and missed opportunities. And that's not just on the manager, it's a collective failure. The board, the executives, and yes, even the fans. We all play a part in this. But right now, the focus needs to be on what comes next. The immediate priority is to get a permanent manager in place. No more temporary fixes, no more interim appointments. Celtic needs a leader who can take the club forward, who can bring stability, and who can make the hard decisions when it comes to both transfers and tactics. The problem is, the longer this drags on, the harder it's going to be for the club to regain its footing. We've got a massive game against Falkirk coming up, and the interim managers will be looking to make an immediate impact. But let's not kid ourselves. This is a band-aid solution. What happens after that? What happens when we get to the next round of fixtures and the pressure builds again? Can O'Neill and Maloney really make the difference? Or are we just going through the motions, waiting for the inevitable end to this interim period? I'll be honest, I'm not confident in the board's ability to make the right call when it comes to appointing a permanent manager. After everything that's gone wrong this season, I'm struggling to see how they can turn things around. But here's the thing. If we want to salvage this season, the time to act is now. Celtic cannot afford to wait any longer. The longer this indecision lingers, the more we risk losing out on everything we've worked for. We need a manager who can come in, hit the ground running, and inspire this team to greatness once again. Someone who knows how to build a squad, get the best out of the players, and make the tough decisions when it matters most. But, of course, it's not all about the manager. There's still the matter of the squad, and frankly, I'm not convinced that the current group of players are good enough to get us where we need to be. Yes, we have some talented individuals, but as a team, we've been underperforming for far too long. The players have to take some responsibility for this, too. It's easy to blame the manager, but at the end of the day, the players are the ones on the pitch. They need to step up, show some heart, and start performing like they care about the club. And let's not forget about the upcoming transfer window. Celtic needs to invest in the squad, and fast. We've been crying out for a striker, and it's clear that the team needs more depth in certain areas. But will the board back the new manager when the time comes to make those signings? Or will we be left with another half-hearted attempt at strengthening the squad, only to find ourselves in the same position next season? It's a real concern, and it's one that needs to be addressed if we're serious about competing at the top level again. But even with all these questions hanging over the club, I can't help but feel a bit of hope creeping in. Yes, things are a mess right now, and yes, we've been let down by the board, the manager, and even the players. But there's still time to turn it around. We've seen Celtic bounce back from difficult situations before, and we can do it again. It's not going to be easy, but if we get the right manager in place, make the right signings, and get the players to perform at their best, then there's still a chance we can salvage something from this season. At the end of the day, Celtic is bigger than any one person, whether that's Brendan Rodgers, Martin O'Neill, or anyone else. It's about the fans, the club, and the pride we have in our team. We've been through tough times before, and we'll go through them again. But as long as we stick together, we can overcome anything. Let's just hope that the board finally gets it right this time. We deserve better, and it's time they delivered. Let's go, Celtic. Let's make this season one to remember. Before we proceed, subscribe to our channel and enable notifications to receive all exclusive news about Celtic FC. Don't miss any details about your favorite team. It's extremely important for Celtic FC fans. Whispers across the Scottish football scene are growing louder, and it seems there might be a seismic shift at Celtic Park. According to sources close to the club, John McGInn, the tenacious midfielder who's long been a talisman for Aston Villa, is on the verge of swapping Birmingham for Glasgow. The mere suggestion has sparked a flurry of excitement among the boys' faithful, who've been craving a leader capable of rallying the squad through the thick and thin of Premiership battles. McGinn's reputation precedes him. At Villa, he wasn't just a player. He was the heartbeat of the dressing room, the sort of presence managers dream of having on their side. Known for his relentless work rate, pinpoint passing, and the knack for scoring crucial goals, McGInn has also earned plaudits for his leadership qualities. It's said he's equally vocal off the pitch, encouraging teammates and keeping spirits high when the going gets tough, a trait that could make him an instant figurehead at Celtic. Sources claim that discussions have been quietly underway for weeks. Aston Villa, naturally, are said to be loath to part with one of their key men, but Celtic's allure, combined with McGinn's desire for a fresh challenge, might just tip the balance. The Scottish club, eager to bolster both experience and authority in the squad, sees McGInn as a player capable of bridging the gap between youth and seasoned professionals, bringing a winning mentality that could galvanize the team. Fans on social media are abuzz with speculation. Some see McGInn as the perfect addition to Celtic's midfield, a player who can dictate tempo and lead by example, while others wonder how the Scottish Premiership will cope with yet another high-profile transfer from the English leagues. Regardless, the murmurings suggest that should the deal come to fruition, McGInn won't just be another signing. He'll be a true leader in the dressing room, commanding respect and perhaps even redefining the team's identity. Of course, nothing is confirmed, and transfer windows are notorious for turning whispers into headlines, or into nothing at all. But one thing is certain. The notion of John McGInn striding onto the hallowed turf of Celtic Park has already set tongues wagging, and if even half of the rumors are accurate, Scottish football is in for a thrilling, headline-grabbing shake-up. Hello, fan. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, as it means a lot to Celtic FC. Also, share your opinion about the news in the comments below. See you in the next video.